Lou, we wanted to talk a little bit about the herons in the area. I've got a white-faced heron that's hanging around in my street at the moment. It's a beautiful,
In
elegant
your
bird.
street?
Yes.
What? Is he street walking?
Is it? Yeah, yes.
Or is he going from pond to pond?
There's a little area that gets it's low and swampy in one section of the street, and it likes to spend time there, but it also likes to spend time on my neighbour's roof checking out the scenery. So I thought that we should talk about the two local herons that we have in the Highlands.
And I do think they're so misnamed.
Yes?
I do. Like, we've got two that we really see frequently.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is called a white-faced heron.
That's the one I've got.
Yeah. And it's quite a good size. It's maybe stands about,
60 to 70 centimetres.
Centimetres high, and its wingspan is probably nearly a metre. It's grey. It's a soft grey, and
Beautiful
therefore
colour.
should be called a grey heron, in my view.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have a white face
Yes.
and yellow legs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can't miss them, really, especially when they're
No.
flying. Because you can see those yellow legs trailing behind, these really broad wings, and a really long pointed bill. And the neck, which is usually very long and very flexible, is drawn in.
Yes,
but the
they fold it
breastbone-
up.
The breastbone sort of sticks out, doesn't it? So it's a very distinctive shape in the sky.
And they
Whatever
do
heron
move
it
around
is.
in this area quite a lot.
They move around
Yeah.
a lot because they make their living in shallow wetlands, water, muddy estuaries, a lot in paddocks around the place here. And one way and another, they are perfectly adapted for a life in the wetlands. They have these long legs so they don't get their feathers all dirty. They have these long toes so that they don't sink into the mud. They have this long neck, which has a special hinged mechanism in the neck and the sixth vertebrae that allows them to rapidly fold and extend.
Oh, so they can shoot out their
So they
beak.
can stab that fish when
Yeah.
they see it really fast.
Ah.
And they are really remarkably solitary birds when they're hunting, for the obvious reason they don't want anyone else upsetting their hunting ground, because they have to stalk very carefully, quietly through the water to find prey. And while they do eat fish, I think they take a lot of frogs and invertebrates. They take crustaceans, and they eat them whole. All the animals,
wow.
they eat them whole, and then they regurgitate what they don't want to
right.
digest. So they're both like that. The second one,
Can I just say one thing about the white-faced heron
Yes, tell
that I
me.
learnt that I just thought was bizarre and interesting? They have the white face,
yes,
and apparently the shape of the white on their face and down their neck is individual. So that this is what I read.
you
I'd like
know-
to see it
okay, so
validated,
you
but
get to know
you
get to
could
know your
actually, if you
heron.
took photos, you could know whether it was the same one coming back or not.
Oh
But that's just a little
no, very
bizarre, quirky
interesting.
fact. Please tell me about white-necked herons.
Well, really, white-necked herons probably could be kept as a white-necked heron, but they're really the body is dark grey, and
Yes.
the neck and the face is white.
Yep, and they're taller, aren't they, than the white-faced?
They're a bit bigger.
76 to 106 centimetres.
Right.
According to my notes
According to your verbal. Yes.
I didn't know that off by heart, I have to admit.
So they have this white down to the shoulders, basically, and then they're dark, and their legs are dark, black probably, so not yellow like with the white face. So you've got the white faced and the white
Necked.
necked, and there are two favourites. But one of the things that's special about herons is that you can imagine where they live is kind of messy, to say the least. Like, they often get covered in fish slime and mud, And yet they always looked absolutely, they turned out beautifully.
That's true, yeah.
And the reason they're able to stay so beautiful is they use this thing called powder down.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is, they preen and they take crumbled feather butts, if you like, from different parts of their body. They can take them from the chest, they can take them from the rump, and they're broken down and they make a kind of talcum powder.
Mm-hmm.
And they run this talcum powder through all their feathers as they preen. And they do it very, very, very carefully so that they look absolutely pristine all the time. And they've got a special hook, I think, on their middle claw that they use to comb through their feathers.
Oh, wow.
How cool
Again,
is that?
as always, Louise is gesturing beautifully to go along with this.
And the other thing that I think is interesting is how they nest.
Oh, tell me about that.
Where would you expect a heron to nest?
Oh, the trouble is I know the answer to
Oh,
this
well,
one.
that's cheating then. Okay, they nest in trees, living trees.
Really high.
Really high. And given
Yeah.
their long legs, they can look kind of bizarre up there. And they make a twig nest, very untidy, unlike their own personal hygiene. Their nests are just messy, really. And they usually, sometimes they nest in colonies.
Oh, yes. The white-necked especially, I think.
And sometimes they nest alone. But I am used to seeing them in colonies.
Wow.
And they call those heronries, don't they?
Oh.
Heronries.
Heronries.
Yeah. They can produce, I think, one family, one set a year of young. But there's no specific season. Their breeding season is dictated by water, by how much rain there is, and therefore how many fish, frogs, invertebrates, and so forth, food there is for their chicks. So that is kind of interesting that they can breed
Do
at
it
any time.
when it suits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I understand that the white-necked herons have to have fresh water, whereas the white-faced herons are much more Catholic with the quality and
I think they
of
can manage
water.
more brackish water. I mean, they
and
don't
salty, which
don't
is
think
brackish. isn't it?
they're keen on the coast.
Yeah,
But brackish water, an estuarine sort of environment is very nice. And frankly, herons must be really pleased that fashion for hats with all those heron feathers has passed.
Yes.
Hopefully forever.
Yes. So I think I could say that I see white-faced herons quite a lot around the place. But I went through my photos to see where I'd seen white-necked herons, and the only ones that I've photographed in the Highlands were actually at Thirlmere Lakes. Can you think of any where you've seen white-necked herons in our area?
I have seen them flying around in my neck of the wood. They aren't as common.
No, by no means.
And I did try and find some distinctions between these two because it's unusual to have two birds so similar in the same habitat. Usually there's some kind of division of habitats between birds that are hunting in
doing
the
the same
same
thing.
area. And I couldn't find any research that informed me about that.
Oh, well, there you go.